Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Gift of Health Weekly Wellness Chat. We are so happy to be with you. Today, we're going to be answering a lot of your questions live. Any health-related questions that you have, just bring them. So this is going to be a very informative session. Invite your friends and family members as well. For those of you who are meeting us for the first time, I'm Dr. Drs Rayapudis, and this is my lovely wife, Dr. Shobha Rayapudis. We are both lifestyle medicine doctors and the co-founders of Gift of Health, where we are helping people to reverse chronic disease, get off medication treadmill, lose weight, and keep it off, and have more energy with tasty and healthy food and active lifestyle.
You might be wondering why we are doing this. Like actually in our medicine career, what we discovered is actually changing food and lifestyle is more powerful when it comes to medications and surgeries for treatment of chronic diseases. But we also recognize that making a lifestyle change is very hard. And for some, it's quite a struggle. That's why we have created these sessions, this weekly wellness chat, and also programs where we actually help people and make it easy for people to make that lifestyle change. So with the help of our programs, people are actually able to eat right, move more, stress less, and sleep better, and get off their medications and get rid of their diseases. So even in today's discussion, so feel free, if you have any questions, regarding the disease or regarding the lifestyle or how you can make the changes easily. So we are here to answer all those questions. And
yeah, let us know where you're joining us from. So, to make it more accessible for other people, it would be helpful if you just like, comment, or share, so that the way the Facebook works is the more likes, the more loves, and the more comments we have, the more it will reach to the people who need to see this. So let us know where you're joining us from, and it's always exciting to see. Let's see, who do we have? Connie is here. Hey, Connie, how are you? Good to see you. Connie is joining us from Jamaica. So we're gonna, start with some of the questions that you sent. Some of you wrote us the question. So here is one of the questions that we had that was asked on the Gift of Health page. What are the best plans to keep your bowel movements regular? Are greens a better food if you want to have regular bowel movements? See, the thing is, our gut has only two ends. One is the mouth end, and the other one is the butt end. So whatever food that we eat, it goes through the mouth, then the food pipe, and the stomach, and then goes through the small bowel, and then the large bowel, and then we poop it out through the rectum and the anus. So the gut has only two ends. One is the mouth end, and one is the butt end. What comes out depends upon what goes in. So the primary thing that you want to focus on if you want to have regular bowel movements is to make sure you're getting lots of fiber. The more fiber you get in, the better. And when it comes to fiber, you want to focus on the fiber from the whole plant foods, not the processed fiber supplements. You want to focus on eating more beans, lentils. Beans and lentils is where the most fiber is. And also the whole grains, like quinoa, barley, buckwheat, brown rice. Beans and lentils can be any beans, like chickpeas, navy beans, red beans, kidney beans, black beans, pinto beans, any beans. And you also want to focus on getting lots of vegetables. It could be green leafy vegetables or non-green, like other vegetables like peppers, cucumbers, carrots, beets. Green leafy vegetables can be spinach or kale. So Vegetables, will help, and also the fruits, different kinds of fruits. So when you focus on getting lots of beans, whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, you'll get plenty of fiber. And along with fiber, you also want to take a good amount of water. So it's the fiber and the water combination will help your bowels move regularly. The other thing that will help with regular bowel movements is doing exercise. Research also shows that when you move more, like getting a physical activity for about 35 to 45 minutes on a daily basis, it will also help your bowel movements become more regular. So this is a general advice to help you have regular bowel movements. But here is the thing: like if you're above 50 and you have like issues like changes with your bowel habits, and you make these simple changes, the diet changes, and it's not working, or you notice any other changes with your bowel movements, like if you notice any blood or the constipation is getting worse, then it's very, very important that you see your family doctor and get a referral to see either a surgeon or a gastroenterologist to have your like colon checked. You may need a colonoscopy. So it's you don't want to take this changes with your bowel habits that easily. So do these things to improve, increase the fiber intake, increase the water intake, increase activity. But if these things are not working, or then you definitely don't want to waste time. Get a referral to see get a referral to see a surgeon or a surgeon or a gastroenterologist. Hey, Marie, good to see you. Geraldine, hi, how are you? Good, excellent.
So Murray is asking, I bought milled golden roasted flax seeds. Are they okay? The same as regular flax seeds? So Murray, one thing is, as we always say, it's better to look at the label when it says golden roasted flax seeds. See if they have been, what they have been roasted. Like, have they been roasted with oil or dry roasted? When it comes to flaxseed, yes, having milled flax seeds is good, but it could be just plain flax seeds. They don't have to be roasted. So if you're buying a pack of flax seeds, the best thing is to just buy the regular flax seeds and mill them yourself. Like, you could just throw them in a blender and they will be blended very fast. So that's a better way to have it. But let's say even if you are buying milled flax seeds, they don't have to be roasted.
Yeah, see, the thing is, when you roast something, like you are subjecting to a little bit of processing. But if you just use a regular flax seeds without roasting, that's I would say that's close to the original form, the close to the natural form. So we don't usually go for the roasted flax seeds. We just go for the regular flax seeds. But if you already have it, you just use it. I don't think it's a bad thing. Flax seeds are so beneficial, especially as long as there is no oil added. Just use them all, and from next time, just get the regular flax seeds. So golden are the brown ones, right? Like we saw the golden ones recently, and the regular ones are more darker. And the other thing is, what we found with the flax seeds, one tip is if you buy the whole flax seeds, it's cheaper rather than when you buy the milled flax seeds. They're more expensive. If you buy the whole flax seeds, you could blend them in a coffee grinder or a blender. It's almost you're paying half the price if you buy the whole flax seeds. Good, good. Okay. Hi, Heather. Hi, Sean. Good to see you here. Geraldine, you tried, she's saying, I tried my potato waffles. I need to try it again. They were sticking. So if you remember the steps, what we did last time, on the last, like in the session, we did cook potatoes. So what we did with the potato waffles is actually we steamed them first. I'm sorry, what we did with the potato was like we took a medium-sized potato and we actually steamed the potato for about 4 to 5 minutes. So it got a little softer. And then we put it on the waffle maker for about 5 to 6 minutes. So if it is sticking, then maybe one possibility is that you might have taken it off too quickly. So, okay, you're saying you steamed it. That's good. So then maybe depending upon your waffle maker, Geraldine, like you may need to leave that on your waffle maker for another minute or two, because it's what we found is when we have made waffles so many times, like with either potato waffles or like the blueberry waffles or the chocolate chip waffles. Like we have the recipe for different kinds of waffles on the Gift of Health website. What I've learned is after making waffles hundreds and hundreds of times, the right amount of temperature is what will prevent it from sticking. So if it is sticking, all you need to do, try this next time and let us know. Just leave it on the waffle maker for another 2 or 3 minutes, and I bet it will come off easily.
So Bernice is asking, is flaxseed at bulk barn okay? That is one part of the question. The other is, do flax seeds impact kidneys?
Yeah, flax seeds at the bulk barn are okay. That's very straightforward. And do flax seeds impact in kidneys? Well, if anything, the impact would be positive. Like I haven't come across any research showing that flax seeds are maybe harmful on the kidneys. Like flax seeds are, there are two. I would say, new food ingredients that there is extensive published studies on it. One is turmeric, and other one is flax seeds. On turmeric and flax seeds, there are hundreds and thousands of studies that are published in the medical journals, like how these studies, these flax seeds and also turmeric, they are so beneficial. Like flaxseed alone, it has been shown to decrease the risk of breast cancer, decrease your blood pressure, like if you have high blood pressure, bring it to normal, and decrease the risk of your strokes, also regularize your bowel movements. Lots of studies on how flax seeds can benefit you, also lower inflammation, like especially if you have any kind of inflammation. Flax seeds have shown to decrease inflammation. But specifically on kidneys, I don't remember on top of my head. But it would be, if you come across anything, we will share it in the comments. Like I'll take a look and see if any negative effects of flax seeds on kidneys. Since you're here, since you asked a question, like we could share a tip. One good resource that we like to use is nutritionfacts.org. We'll put it in the comments. It's called nutritionfacts.org. And you type in flax seeds and kidney disease, and you'll see Dr. Greger has over 2,000 videos on how different foods impact health. So, I mean, that's my first go-to place, and I go to that, and also our way of searching. I also go to PubMed. PubMed is a database. We can type it in the chat. It's called pubmed.gov. You can also, sometimes if there are any studies, medical studies that are published, you can find studies there as well. But I would say the first resource is go to nutritionfacts.org if you're looking for anything. Hope that's helpful.
So we got another question from Gloria. Talk about quinoa and possible ways to use it. I don't know how to cook it properly. Yeah.
Well, Gloria, quinoa is one of the easiest ones to cook.
And it takes 1 minute if you're using Instant Pot.
Yeah. Are you familiar with Instant Pot? We don't have any shares in Instant Pot company, but we have seen the firsthand benefits of using an Instant Pot. It makes cooking so easy. And it just takes like 1 or 2 minutes to cook the quinoa. Even if you don't have an Instant Pot, quinoa is very easy to cook. Like you just take a cup of quinoa and add 2 to 2.5 cups of water if you're cooking it over the stove. So, and then let it come to like boil, and it will cook in about 8 to 10 minutes just over the stove. But in the Instant Pot, it might take 3 to 4 minutes to build up the pressure. And once the pressure builds up, and in another minute, it will be cooked. So how many different ways to use quinoa, Shubha? How do you want to add, like, any thoughts on how?
Oh, like you can use quinoa in a lot of dishes. Like quinoa is tiny yet mighty grain, which is rich in protein, rich in minerals, rich in vitamins. And like you can do a lot of things. Just like any regular grain, you can you can mix the grain and different kinds of vegetables. So that is one way. And you can add to your salads. You can add to your chilies. So even when you add to your chilies, it has that ground beef appearance too. When
You mean the veggie chili that you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah. And quinoa also comes in different colors. So you have red color, black color, and also beige color. So you can use different colors of quinoa, and you can also use them in wraps. So you could just make a simple wrap where you are just putting hummus on the wrap and add different kinds of vegetables, quinoa, and that way it becomes filling. So if you're just using vegetables, you might feel hungry after some time, but when you pack it up with quinoa, vegetables, it's actually more filling. So you can, quinoa is versatile, like just like, as I said, just like any grain, you can use them in soups, you can use them for stir fries, you can just use them in wraps or make a sandwich out of it. So these are different ways you can use quinoa.
Denise is saying quinoa is great in crunch wrap with beans, veggies, and plant-based cheese sauce. That's a great idea. You could, and the thing about quinoa is it just takes on the taste of whatever you put in. Like any grains themselves, they don't have taste. They just take on the taste of the sauces and the spices that you use. We love quinoa in bowls. Like we make a bowl with some, have some lentils and cooked lentils, some quinoa, and some cut vegetables. And we actually have a dressing on the website. It's called a curry dressing, right? Yeah. So we could have the link for that curry dressing on the Gift of Health website on the comments, and you could use that curry dressing and mix that with cooked quinoa, and then the beans or the lentils and the veggies, and it makes a nice bowl, very tasty.
And here people have good suggestions. So yeah, Dennis is saying, I love soaking quinoa with water and adding spices. And then I blend and make a thin batter to make quinoa crepes. Wow, like wonderful idea. And also Heather is saying, I make a couscous salad with quinoa instead of wheat couscous, and it is delicious.
I love that idea. And one of my favorite with quinoa is actually to make tabbouleh. Tabbouleh is a Middle Eastern, like a salad. It's made with parsley, lemon juice, tomatoes, and some salt. Usually people use couscous in that, but quinoa tabbouleh is more wholesome. It's so tasty. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent.
So we have another question saying, okay, I don't like eating greens. So what can I do to eat more greens? Like I do cut up some fruits, like when I add apple and these things, but is there any other way that I can eat more greens?
So how to eat more greens, right? Greens is like when you are starting out on a healthy eating, greens may not be the most popular one for many, because especially for kids or teenagers or people who are picky eaters, we have seen all kinds of faces when you make something green. The perception is it's not going to taste that well, but
Yeah. So I would say when you're starting out, the best bet is to just use a little bit of greens and try green smoothies. So like our son, like he just like he uses either spinach or kale, adds one banana to it and a cup of blueberries, add some flaxseed, chia seed, and just blend it, and it's yummy. So the sweetness comes from the fruit. So that is one way you can try to start out when it comes to greens. The other way to like greens is make it inconspicuous, in the sense add it to the dishes. So let's say when you're making soups or any curries, add the greens so that you don't see much of greens. It is cooked and it gets wilted and it decreases in size. You don't see much greens, but in that way you're getting the greens and enjoying them. You can add at the end to any soup or stew. So in that way, like it is like you're able to take the greens. The best when it comes to greens, uh, go for herbs like cilantro, parsley. So they taste great. So you could start with them, like when it comes to having greens, if you're starting out.
Yeah, other thing about greens is for some of you who are starting out and liking greens, like you may not like the strong taste of the greens, and go with the greens that are the mildest in flavor. The mildest in flavor are the spinach. Spinach, like if you put these greens on a mild to strong, like spinach is very mild. I see the comment from Denise, like microgreens are great because microgreens also have a very mild flavor. Then you take some greens like kale, parsley, cilantro. These have a strong their own flavor. You may not like it or not. Then you have, on the other hand, you have a greens like arugula, which is like, spicy, angry spinach. So you start with mild, and you, believe it or not, when you keep exposing your taste buds, when you keep challenging your taste buds with these foods, your taste buds will change. Um, Another simple way to make the greens more tasty is like put some balsamic vinegar or put some rice vinegar, like, to make it more vinegar. Some people like the vinegary taste. You could also squeeze some lemon juice, add a little bit of salt and some spices to the dishes wherever you're adding the greens. Like greens,
we have a nice recipe on our website how to make green tasty. So we have a spinach tofu curry. We also have spinach corn, so where we are actually cooking the greens and blending it and adding spices to it, which actually makes it a yummy dish. So you can definitely try out those recipes. And lots of greens are used. We also have another recipe called spinach coconut rice on our website. So a lot of people love that recipe too. So where you're just throwing everything, the rice, greens in the instant pot, and people love that recipe too. So try some of those.
yeah, one tip for enjoying kale is like kale itself may have like a strong flavor for you when you're starting out. One way you could decrease the strength of kale is actually to add maybe half of avocado and mash that avocado, massage the kale with the avocado, and then the kale becomes more milder and milder. I also like this comment from Denise. She's saying like adding kale to wraps, burritos, bowls. Um, yeah, all those are great ideas. Gloria is sharing that she likes to steam frozen greens and dress them with sauteed red onion and pepper and balsamic vinegar. Okay, excellent.
So yeah, we have another question. It says, my family has lots of questions now that I changed to whole food plant-based diet. They always ask me about healthy oils. They keep saying that I need healthy olive oil for the brain. How should I respond?
Well, see, the thing about oils is very confusing for a lot of people. And the confusion comes from looking at only small part of the evidence and not looking at the whole evidence. See, the thing is, if you look at oils, what are oils? Like, how do you make olive oil? To make a spoon of olive oil, can you guess how many olives you have to squeeze? You actually have to squeeze 40 olives to make 1 spoon of oil. All these oils are nothing but junk food. Because see, if you look at olives, those 40 olives, they have fiber, they have many vitamins and many minerals, whereas olive oil is just 120 calories of pure liquid fat. 1 spoon of olive oil has 120 calories of pure liquid fat with not many nutrients. I think the only tiny amount of nutrient it has is just a small amount of vitamin E. That's it. No fiber, no protein, no other minerals. So olives themselves are healthy, whereas olive oil is pure liquid fat. It's like this, if you're eating a whole beet or if you're eating a whole corn, that's healthy. But if you're making high fructose corn syrup out of corn, that's not healthy. Or if you're making beet sugar out of beets, that's not healthy. Does it make sense? Whereas we do need some amount of fats. We do need some amount of whole fats. And you could get all the fats that you need for your health from eating chia seeds, flax seeds, having some nuts in small amounts. You'll get all the fats that you need for your brain health and your whole health. You don't have to take oils like canola oil, olive oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil. You don't need any of those oils to be healthy. On the other hand, these extra calories that you're getting from the oils, they pack the extra weight. Many people, without realizing that, they use a couple of spoons of oil during the breakfast time, couple of spoons during the lunch time, couple of spoons for the supper time. Like within a day, you could easily take in 4 to 5 spoons of oil, and all of that is just adding extra weight, extra inflammation. And research also shows the more oils that you take, more inflammation of the blood vessels and more heart disease. And other benefit is food actually tastes better without oil, because if you're not adding oil, you can actually taste the flavors and the spices and the herbs more. And think of this, it's much easier to clean your dishes when you're not using oil. And there is confusion because the research keeps coming up every now and then. Like every now and then you see, even recently we saw a study where it's saying, oh, taking some olive oil is actually maybe good for your brain health. But the thing is, if you look at the whole body of evidence, for every,
like even in that study, actually they compared the oil to chicken fat. So you want to be aware of the study, because sometimes we just hear the news headlines and don't see what actually the study is. So that's why, like, olive oil was proved healthy because it was compared to saturated chicken fat. So obviously that would be healthier than the chicken fat. So we do want to keep that in mind.
Yes. One more confusion comes, like many people say, oh, the Mediterranean diet is healthy. The Mediterranean diet, and the people in the Mediterranean region, they use olive oil. See, the thing is, the people in the Mediterranean region, the Mediterranean type of eating, they eat more whole grains, more beans, more vegetables, more greens compared to the standard Newfoundland diet or standard American diet or standard Canadian diet. So their diet is more healthier because of the amount of vegetables that they eat, the whole grains that they eat, and the beans that they eat. And also they eat much less meat compared to the the standard, like the traditional Western diet. So you have to think their diet is healthy. They are healthier despite eating olive oil. That's because of the amount of the greens and the grains that they're eating.
Yes. So, okay. So Bernice is asking then, what's a good substitute for oil as food sticks to pan? So that is a good question, Bernice. So instead of oil, there are a lot of things you can use. So let's say if you're making a stir fry or something, you can use a little bit of water to prevent sticking. Actually, we have a video on our website where we show like how you can cook without oil, like why and how, like why not to use oil and how we can cook without using oil. So there is a beautiful video which actually shows how you can cook without oil.
So we'll share that video, the link to that blog post in the comments here.
Yeah. Like I cook without oil all the time. So it's it's about getting the right utensils. And yes, we can definitely cook without. So like I make some deep fried food. I also make stir fries and lot other dishes without using oil.
So the thing is, like, how to replace oil depends upon what you're cooking, right? Let's say if you're making a stir fry, if you're adding your vegetables, like, let's say you're adding onions or mushrooms and peppers, whatever the vegetables that you're adding, you could cook those vegetables in their own water. Like if you add a little bit of salt, there is more water coming from those vegetables. As Shobha mentioned, that you could add a little bit of water. Some people actually add a little bit of vegetable broth. I mean, we're not a big fan of it because then everything tastes like vegetable broth. You could also use some vinegar. So in the comments, can we have the link to the direct video, the how and why to cook without oil? Like there is a blog post. We'll have it in the comments. Heather says, glad you mentioned the dishes. I love doing the dishes. It's so easy and safe. Think about this. See how easy it is to clean your dishes when you're not using oil, right? Now, when you eat these oils, whether it is olive oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, or you use the animal oils. The animal oils are your butter, your cheese. Like when you use these kind of things, how difficult it is for the blood vessels to be cleaned up with all these sticky oils. See, it's so much easier. It's so much easier to cook without oils and also to clean without oils. There is a little bit of learning curve. So Marianne is saying, hey, Marianne, good to see you. So the question is there any food to help with avoiding episodes of atrial fibrillation? So atrial fibrillation could be due to many reasons. And it's very hard to pinpoint unless, like, you have to go through a workup by your doctor, by your cardiologist to figure out what exactly is causing atrial fibrillation. Unfortunately, there is not a particular food we have come across where we could say, you eat these foods and you'll have less atrial fibrillation. But here is the thing, like one of the risks for people with atrial fibrillation is actually increasing it. When you have atrial fibrillation, it increases the risk of getting a stroke. But we know from evidence that eating a plant-based diet, it decreases the risk of getting strokes. So another benefit of eating plant-based is it also decreases the risk of getting heart attacks. So even when you have atrial fibrillation, you'd benefit from switching to a plant-based eating because it decreases your overall risk of getting heart attacks and strokes. But would it prevent you to having another episode of atrial fibrillation? We have not come across any of that, any study like that. Heather is asking bean broth. for a no oil-free cooking. Yes, you could use some bean broth also to help with cooking. Regarding the types of non-stick cookware for cooking without oil, like any non-stick, good non-stick cookware will work. We have something called Circulon. It's a Circulon, Circulon cookware. We got that from Costco. But even the regular non-stick, a good non-stick cookware would do it, because we have experimented with different kinds of cooking utensils and still have been able to cook without oils. And the other things, if you're using things like air fryer, you could make any kind of things that you used to deep fry, like if you're used to making fries. I think we showed it last week when we made the potato fries. We actually steamed the potatoes for 4 to 5 minutes. And once we steam them, it adds moisture to the potatoes, and then you can actually add some spices. The spices stick well with that moisture, and also it also acts almost like you have added a spoon of oil, and with that steaming step you can avoid even adding a spoon of oil, and you can cook in the air fryer or the active fry without using any oil. Okay, Sean is saying, I keep my pot liquor from Sunday plant-based jigs dinner and use it in my week's cooking without oil. So that's a great tip. Using that pot liquor from Sunday's plant-based jigs dinner. That is the healthiest pot liquor you could use, because the typical traditional pot liquor that many people use with the traditional Newfoundland cooking is loaded with all kinds of grease. So you could cook without any of those harmful pot liquor, and you could cook with a healthy pot liquor basically. Denise is asking, last week we showed some recipes. Yes, you'd like to see how to make some dal makhani. Yeah, we'll actually do in the, I don't know when, but in the upcoming weeks we might do a cooking class, like just like on one of these Wednesday weekly lives, just on lentil sugar. Like some people also asked about lentils, right? Like so we could show how to make different things with lentils. We have a very good recipe for how to make a tasty lentil soup. It's just 3 ingredients. It's on the Gift of Health website, right? So you could try that. And we do have a dal makhani recipe on the Gift of Health website as well. So this is another question that has come up from one of you. As a very active woman, I do yoga 4 times a week and walk more than 5 kilometers per day. How much protein per day should I be getting on a plant-based diet? The typical recommendation for protein for anyone, whether you're going plant-based or non-plant-based, is to see that you're getting about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram, which is, let's say, if you're about 50 kilograms, that's about 50 times 0.8, about 40 grams of protein. And this is calculated based on your ideal weight, not your, if you happen to be a little bit overweight, then you don't calculate based on that. So if we have to round it to you and tell you how much protein do you need per day, it would be about 45 to 50 grams of protein per day is more than enough. And when you eat a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast with some chia seeds and flax seeds, and for lunch, if you're having a bowl of bean or lentil soup, or a grain bowl with quinoa, and for supper, similar meals like where you're using whole wheat pasta or whole grains like brown rice or quinoa or beans, you will get all the protein that you need And we have done this study on our dietary intake so many times. Like Shobha has entered her food intake into an app called Chronometer. And I have done it multiple times. Like we can type it in the comments. Chronometer, CRONOMETER, chronometer.com, and it's a free resource. You could uh, type in what you're eating for breakfast, what you're eating for lunch, what you're eating for supper. It's very easy to track your protein intake, and you don't have to worry at all. Like if you're eating uh, at least our suggestion for you to ensure that you get lots of protein is take 1 or 2 tablespoons of flax seeds or chia seeds. You can throw in hemp seeds as well, and eat at least half to 1 cup of cooked beans every day, and eat at least a cup to cup and a half of whole grains every day, and eating potatoes with the skin, and eating some nuts, like maybe an ounce to ounce and a half of nuts every day. It will ensure that you'll get all the protein that you need. Protein is the last thing that you have to worry about. Yes, I'm changing my body composition as we speak. Like I'm focusing on lessening my body fat percentage and increasing the muscle percentage, and I keep track of my protein intake, and I easily get about 70 to 80 grams of protein per day. I don't have to worry about whether I'm getting enough protein or not. If you want even bit more protein, you could definitely increase the intake of lentils. Lentils are so high in protein. You can also add some tofu and tempeh as well to your diet. And soybeans, those are great for protein. Like, if you take in some edamame, which are some steamed soybeans, great in protein. Okay, let's see. So there is a link for the Chronometer app. Yeah, Dennis is saying most people eat way too much protein on the standard American diet. Yeah, think of this. When was the last time? When was the last time you saw any of your friends or family members low in protein?
Have you seen any case of protein deficiency? Have you come across any person who was protein deficient? But we keep thinking about it, like we obsess so much about protein deficiency. Actually, what we should be worried about is our fiber intake, if we are getting enough fiber on a daily basis. So that is the thing we should be focusing on.
Another thing is, like, the more protein, especially the animal protein you take, the more health problems that you see. Because the more animal protein means more inflammation, more diabetes. Believe it or not, like research shows, the more animal protein you take, more diabetes. More animal protein you take, like whether you take cheese or chicken or meat, then there is more heart disease, more inflammation, more risk of getting cancers as well. So it's protein is the last thing that you have to worry about, especially the animal protein is something that you want to minimize the intake of. Choose the plant protein, like eating more beans, more lentils, more whole grains, more nuts and seeds. You'll get all the proteins that you need. And they also come with a lot of benefits, because the plant proteins are coming with phytochemicals, antioxidants, fiber, ton and tons of vitamins and minerals. Whereas the animal protein is coming as a package. It is packaged with what? Saturated fat, cholesterol, bacteria, lots of bacteria. Like, okay, think of this. Okay, if you cook the beans and you forget to put it in the fridge, leave it on the kitchen counter for next day, they'll be fine next day morning. But if you forget to put the chicken back in the fridge and you leave it on the kitchen counter overnight, the chicken or fish, how will it be next day? Can you even enter the kitchen? Your kitchen would be rotten and smelling, right? So that is because of all the bacteria that is lying on that decaying flesh. So the animal protein comes with a lot of bacteria, which increases inflammation. It increases the amount of endotoxins coming into our system. Sean is saying diabetes is a big risk factor for COVID-19. It's not just the diabetes. Like, yes, diabetes is a risk factor for COVID-19. Diabetes is also a risk factor for getting heart disease. Right? Did you know that, like, if you have diabetes, your risk of heart disease goes up 4 times compared to a person who doesn't have diabetes. And if you have high blood pressure and diabetes, your risk of getting heart disease goes up 12 times compared to someone who doesn't have high blood pressure and diabetes. If you have high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, and you're a bit overweight, your chance of getting heart disease is about 20 times compared to people who don't have these problems. I was just speaking, I was in the emergency room just a couple of hours ago, and I had to go in and admit a patient. So the thing is, I was having this discussion with my good friend, the emergency room doctor, and the conversation was like that they're getting so bombarded non-stop, like all through the day. The emergency room is like constant barrage of these emergencies, like people having blood pressure of 200, 220. These are silent killers, right? Like people have blood pressure of 200 and 220 systolic blood pressure, and they don't even know that they have high blood pressure, and they're coming with this headache and this vision problems. And these are young people, 30-year-old and 40-year-old, and when they check their blood pressure, it's like blood pressure of like 180 to 200. So these problems that we're talking about, these are very, very real, like high blood pressure, diabetes. These two are silent killers. Like, you may think that, I have some diabetes, I have some high blood pressure, but these, even though you take medications for high blood pressure and diabetes, you're not treating the cause of the problem. You're only masking, you're only treating the numbers, you're only treating the symptoms. What you really need is a whole lifestyle overall. You have to address the food, you have to address the lifestyle. So that's why we created this Gift of Health, and that's why we show up and to share this knowledge. And that's why we recognize that changing the diet and lifestyle is hard. It's not so easy. If it's easy, then we don't need to do these sessions. We could just it would be as easy as like clicking a cell phone. But it's not easy to change our habits, isn't it? So that's why we're taking groups of people through the Gift of Health Food as Medicine program, where we are showing them how food impacts your health, overall health, on your body and mind. So then the question comes: what to cook, how to shop, how to deal with your picky family members, how to cook for them, and how to eat even when you're outside at restaurants, even when you're traveling. So all these things that we cover in a very supportive setting, like because when we're trying to make a lifestyle change, it's very important that you're surrounded by a group of people who are on the same journey, who are loving and kind. So we are so fortunate to work with these amazing people, and we are doing this 6-week program every 3 months. We just had a group of people who went through the 6-week program, and the results that they had were just astounding. Like people who have been on medications for high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, arthritis, have been able to reduce their medications or maybe eliminate some of them have been able to eliminate them within just a matter of like, few weeks. And that's the power of food. When you use the food as medicine, the right foods as medicine, it's amazing how your body heals so fast. Um, and this is the best insurance that you can give for yourself. So we invite you to join us for the next 6-week Gift of Health program. It is on starting on April 22nd. And in 6 weeks, you'll be taking your health to a next level. It's about total wellness. It's not just about your weight, but yes, we have seen the weight loss happening for many people who have been on this journey for over a period of time, losing 60, 70, even 100 pounds when continuing on this Gift of Health journey. So it's very, very powerful.
So Heather is saying, I have been amazed at the change in our health since I began to change our diet. I'm grateful for your support at Gift of Health.
Oh, you're welcome, Heather. We're so glad that you're on this path and taking charge of your health, and it's just amazing. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and Denise says, invest in your health. It really is the best wealth.
Absolutely, right. Yeah. See, the thing is, a lot of us invest in many material things, right? We are so focused on buying the
phones.
The new phones,
which are expensive.
Yeah. Buying the new phones or getting a new car every few years, or like upgrading our house, buying new TV, buying like new clothes or shoes or whatever. The thing is, all these material things, they bring some pleasure for sometimes, but after that, like that's it, right? But when you invest in your well-being, when you invest in yourself, when you invest in your experiences, like improving the experience of your life, where you can get to have more energy to enjoy the things that you love to do and enjoy spending time with your friends and family members, you experience life more profoundly, isn't it? So especially like when you get to 50, 60 and 70, if you don't have health, you have nothing. None of the physical things that you matter, none of the people you surround yourself with matter. If you don't have health, you have nothing. So this is your opportunity to be in the driver's seat for your health and take charge of your health and well-being. And we invite you to be on this epic journey for your health. It's your journey, and we'll be so glad and excited to be your guide through this journey. Like what you can accomplish on your own for that might take like several months. People have accomplished that within like 4 to 6 weeks.
Yes. Excellent. So Sean is saying eating plant-based is half the cost of average person groceries. Plus, you get so healthy.
Yeah. Sean has these one-liners. Excellent. So yeah, keep the questions coming. We like to keep the conversation going, and this has been a fun journey with you. Let's see if there are any questions.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up. Yeah. And if you have any questions, if you happen to watch the replay, just like and comment and share. We'll go through the comments, and if there are any questions that come up, we might answer them at the next live. Sound good?
Okay, so have a wonderful night. Enjoy your time, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.